Good day everyone! Today, I'm gonna discuss to you the Css Combinators, Css-Pseudo class, Css-Pseudo element, and Css Opacity. Css Combinators explain the relationship between the selector. There are four different combinators in CSS: the descendant selector, child selector, adjacent sibling selector, and general sibling selector. The descendant selector selects all the elements that are descendant of a specific element. The child selector selects all the elements that are the children of a specific element. The general selector selects all the elements that are the next siblings of a specific element. The adjacent selector is used to select an element that is directly after another specific element. Now, I'll show you that in the hands-on. Um, you will type something like this. You'll have a selector, one combinator, for example, the child selector, and then another selector. If I said div child selector and then p, we're applying CSS properties to any paragraphs within found within the dev section. What we'll do in this example is create a div selection. Bibigyan ko ang div ng ID of container. Gagawa ko ng few paragraphs. For example, this is number one, and then another one. This is number two. Then, gagawa ko ng inner div section. But this inner div section ay walang ID, pero gagawa ulit tayo ng another paragraph. Let's say this is number 3. Sa labas ng div section, with an ID of container, this one, gagawa tayo ng dalawa pang paragraphs. Let's say this is number 4, and then another one, this is number 5. Let's see. Okay, so this is what we do. Yan lang muna ang kailangan natin. We'll go to CSS. Just to make it a little more clear that this is a dev section, I'll take our container. will give it border, let's say 2 pixels solid. Paragraphs 1, 2, and 3 are within the div section, 4 and 5 are not. Now, gusto ko namang i-highlight lahat ng paragraph within my div container, which is this one, the 1, 2, and 3. Um, we'll set the background color to, let's say, yellow. Let's see. There. As you can see, 1, 2, or 3 are highlighted. Um, we apply the descendant combinator, which is the space. This one, which is the space. Then the background color change to yellow. All the paragraph descendants of our container change the background to yellow, and that is descendant combinator. It's just an empty space. Then you have a child selector. Mm, it's a right angle. Say, um, so, so as you can see, it highlights any paragraph children of our container class, only 1 and 2 highlighted. That's because 3 is not. Um, Technically, a child is a descendant. Think of it like a grandchild of this, in this case, paragraph 1 and 2 are direct children of our container, but 3 is not. It's more like one more level depth because it's rough with another div section. It's a descendant but not a child. All children are descendants, but not all descendants are children. That would apply to the number 3. That's why we only have 1 and 2 that are highlighted. So that is the child combinator. Then we have the general sibling selector. General sibling, which is represented with a tilde, so we will change this one to tilde. Sorry for that. So I will change this to tilde. Any paragraphs that are general sibling of our container that would highlight the 4 and 5. Paragraphs 4 and 5. Paragraphs 4 and 5 are both siblings. Um, they're like a brother and sister. Therefore, they're siblings like a brother and sister. Pero kung ilalagay ko sila within a dev section, Now, hindi na sila, um, they're not sibling anymore. Now we'll proceed to the adjacent sibling. We'll reverse this and this one. So adjacent sibling is a plus sign. Four is selected but not five. The adjacent sibling is the next direct sibling but not all sibling. That is why 4 is selected and not 5. Alright, so that is the combinators. It explains the relationship between the selector. You have the descendant selector, child selector, adjacent selector, and a general selector. Now we'll proceed to CSS pseudo class. CSS pseudo class are keywords that added to a selector, they modify the behavior of an element when they're in a certain state. Importance: understanding pseudo classes enhances interactivity and user experience in a web design. You have the link, targets unvisited links, typically styled to distinguish them from visited links. Hover activates when the cursor is over an element, commonly used for interactive effects like changing color or adding animations. The active applies styles when an element is being clicked or activated, often used to give visual feedback during user interaction. Visited styles link that have been visited by the user, usually used to provide visual differentiation between visited and unvisited links. And then the end child. Select elements based on their position within a parent element, allowing for targeted styling of specific instances such as every third or even or odd elements. And I'm gonna show you that in hands-on. We'll delete this one and then this one. For example, I will create a button and it says click click me here, and then I want to do is when I hover over my cursor over the button here, I will set the button to increase the font size, and also I will change the background color. Button hover um, font size, let's say 1.1 em, and then the background color, let's say green. So when I hover my mouse, this is what it looks like. Um, Next is active. Active is when an item is currently selected. So with my mouse, I'm going to left click the mouse and it's changed the color. So let's do that. Button active. Let's change the color. Font size first. Font size to 1.1 m also. EM. And then the I mean the background color will be color pink. Let's see. When I click, when I left click, it changed the background color to pink. So that is active. So let's begin with a few examples. We'll do it this first, and then here. We will create a hyperlink. Let's say HRL. I don't know. Let's say the Google HTTPS google.com. Wait, HTTPS google.com. Google. So here, a link is also a sorted class. I will select any anchor tags that we have. One, I'll set the links to the class to have this is properties. So let's go to a tag link, and then I'll set the color to, let's say, blue. Sorry, blue. Oh, let's change it to red. There. When I hover my cursor over this link, I want the color to change. Um, we are selecting any anchor tags column, then we will use the hover pseudo class and I will change the color. So let's go back here. A hover. Um, let's say the color um, blue, and then the font size be 1.1 em. Here, when I hover my cursor, let's change the color and it increased the font size too. Next is the octave. Active kicks. Active kicks in when you're holding down the cursor over the element. So active, oh sorry, uh, sorry, I will set the color to um, let's say purple, and then the font size also will be 1.1. Yeah, let's see. So here, when I visit this link, internet connection. So there's no internet connection. That's why the color will not change. I'm sorry for that. Okay, let's proceed to the next example. In this example, we will need 9 list items. A list is an unordered list, so we'll use the UL, and then we'll have the list. Um, this this is number one. We'll copy it. Three, four. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. This is 9. This is 8. This is 7. This is 6, 5, 4, 3, and this is 2. Okay. Now we will go to CSS. We will select any list items and use the hover pseudo class. So when I hover over one of those list items, it will change the background color of the list item to be a highlighter. Let's say a yellow. So list, and then hover background color will set to yellow. When I hover this cursor, it will have a background color of yellow. There is also not hover. Say green, not hover, and then the background color will be gray. Let's see. You see, when I hover this cursor, it will have a background color of yellow. Let's proceed to the end child pseudo class. We'll erase this. So, list and child. Let's say the background color will be purple. So kahit anong number ang ilalagay nyo dito sa parentheses, it will highlight the background color to purple. Let's say the number 8. So you see, the number 8 is now highlighted. Pwede din siyang sa even, add. So we'll make this add so that even. Here. Or pwede din siya sa like every third element. Let's say 3n there. Or kung gusto mong gawing every third element pero nagsisimula sa umpisa will have 3n plus 1. So let's see there. So that's the nth child. So we will have the last example. So in the next example, we will create a development. We will create a div, and the div, we will put an ID, creating, and then the text is Aan here. Aan is my nickname. And then inside this, we will have a paragraph that says hello love. Hello love with that. Hello love. Let's see. Here. I'm here, hello love. I'm going normally I want this hello love text or message to be hidden until I hover over this element on our div. I'm going to install our greetings. So let's go. We'll go to CSS and then greeting. Mm, I will set the background color to lavender. Background color. Let's say pink. And then I will add. Sorry, I will add the padding. 10 pixels. And then the display will be 9. Let's see. So we'll go back here. Hmm. To make to make this element visible, I can set the display property to be none. So I'll set the property to be none, and I would like to do is when I hover over this settlement, I want this element to be displayed. So we are selecting, let's see, yeah, we are selecting our here, our grouping, then we hover it, and I want the P element to be displayed, and then I will set the display to black. So there, it works. Um, so this will come really handy when we create drop-down menus. So those are pseudo classes. Elements can have a special state like when they're being hovered over or when you click on them. Using these pseudo classes, we can apply CSS properties to those elements when we interact with them, and those are pseudo classes. Now we'll go to the pseudo element. Pseudo element used to style specific parts of an element. The first letter. Pseudo element is used to add a special style to the first letter of a text. Then the before pseudo element can be used to insert some content before the content of an element, and then the after pseudo element can be used to insert some content after the content of an element. The marker selects the markers of list items, and then selection. The selection pseudo element matches the portion of an element that is selected by the user. So for example, delete this, this one. For example, we can style the first letter. So we will need first the paragraph. Let's say Lauren. Here. Sorry. Now, I would like to style the specific part of this paragraph tag in my style sheet, the CSS. Um, I would like to select any paragraph, and to use pseudo elements, I would like to change the first letter of my paragraph first letter. I will change the font size to 40 pixels, and then the font size. I mean the font style. Font style will be italic. See. So you see, the first letter change the font style to italic, and the font size also change. These properties will only be applied to this specific element. So let's change the first line. We will be having the key elements again, and then the first line, and I will change the background color. I mean the color for say sky blue. So you see change, and the first line is now scheduled. So in the next example, we'll need to we'll need two lists. I will use an order list. So here, one, and then two. The first and order list, we will have an ID of list 1, and the unordered list 2 will have ID list 2. I will add 3 list items to each unordered list. So say 1, 2, 3. Here also list 1 will be let's say HTML, and then the last two will be CSS, the last three will be JavaScript. For the list 2, the first one will be um, C sharp, and then C++, and then C. There. our next pseudo element is before. We can add some content before an element. So I would like to select any list item. Um, and before, and we will add content. Um, maybe before each element, I would like to append some text or emoji icon. So, but I will use the Unicode code point for emoji, so it will this one, and then 127 3. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's continue. Um, 371. There. What we're doing here is saying before all list items append this content what we select all the items within our page. If I would like a specific list style this way, I can precede the selector with the name of the parent. So let's change this to list change the last item of anything found within the last one parent last. We will proceed list item with the name of the parent list one and then hashtag list one. Yeah. So this selector is all list item found within the list one. Now after that, this time I will give each of these list items with a unique ID. Let's say um, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then C Sharp, C++, and then C. We can use an ID as a selector, so maybe I will select CSS, um, and use the after pseudo element. quoting live kind of we're currently learning CSS, so we added some content after an element. There is also a marker pseudo element with all list items. I would like to change the marker. The marker are these bullets in order list. So a list item, let's say that the color marker will be purple. Here. And then we'll proceed to the last one. The last one is selection pseudo element. So this text is selected with a blue background and a white, I mean, and a blue background. So let's change that to something else. I'll select paragraph. So color to green. And then the background um, to violet. So when I select, oh sorry, let's change the color. Oh, let's change the color to white. And then the background to so my paragraph, oh, this one na lang. So there. So yeah, those are pseudo elements. Next is the CSS opacity. The opacity property specifies the opacity or the transparency of an element. Remember, the value of the opacity ranges from between 0 to 1. Now I'll show you that in the hands-on. Sorry for the noise. Okay, let's continue. So again, CSS opacity. The opacity property specifies the opacity or transparency of an element. Remember that the value of opacity ranges from between 0 to 1. So I'm gonna show you. Now I'm gonna create a div, and inside the div we have a class of container. And then inside the container I'm going to add some simple div. Let's call this a OPEC. OPEC. And inside this we can have image. Image. Image source. Uh, and then and for our CSS, oh sorry, yeah. And for our CSS, we can write OPIC class, OPIC, and we can write the opacity to 1. That means display here. Wait. So that's the image. And then next, what we will do is slowly start decreasing that. So let's change 1 to 0.5. I mean 5. So let's see. Now, you see it's opaque, right? It's not totally transparent. So one way to do that is we can mix things and say, um, let's say hover, opaque, sorry, opaque and then hover. When it's not hover state, it's opaque, but when your mouse over it, it will be transparent, that is visible. Wait, we will just um this one over. It's not all. It's when the mouse is over it, it will not hover, but when the mouse over it, it will be transparent. That is visible. So now you can make it back. Let's back, and we will make it 0. Here. It will not visible. We will also we will make it 0.1. You see, it operates like that. So that it's thank you.